Triple Crown is in your hands.
It's in your hands. Can I interrupt you for a second? We talk about the fact that
he's trying to
get
you to agree.
I'm not. Look, I would love it if I would love
Triple
it.
Crown will be in your hands if you've beaten England and Wales.
They've got, as we've said, an unbelievable team. So not winning the Six Nations now, I think it's probably a failure if they don't win it.
Does the ball come out of Minincello's hand forward? I don't think it's clear, and I don't think it's obvious to overturn that decision.
To not have Marcus on the bench is like, the guy's a game changer. He can play fly half, he can play fullback. If you game isn't going to the way you want it, Marcus can literally change a game like that.
Hi, I'm Ugo Monye, and this is Rugby Union Weekly. We're going to be reviewing round 2 of the Six Nations. So a quick recap of what's happened. Scotland, they've taken back the Calcutta Cup. They were brilliant against England at the weekend. Italy against Ireland was a fascinating game that could have gone anyway. Italy really stepping up this year once again in the Six Nations. And unfortunately, France inflicted more misery on Wales as they concede another 50 points. So I've got great company as well to talk me through this. Former England wing Chris Ashton is alongside me, also here, and he's going to be lively. Former Scotland captain.
It's going to be lively.
It's going to be lively. John Barclay is also here. So if you want to get involved in the conversation, please leave your comments below and make sure you hit subscribe to BBC Sport on YouTube. Gentlemen.
I need to apologise.
Okay, Chris, is that to Wales for saying they should be Tier 2 last week?
That's still pretty solid right now.
Stand by that.
I didn't do anything. But no, we were in doing bits and bobs in the corporate of Murrayfield, which was great. I had a really good time, but I got a bit bullish, shall we say.
Not like you.
I know I got a bit giddy. On good grounds, I thought. I thought England were going to do a lot better than what it turned out. But I did 3 different rooms, 3 different Q&As.
Mm-hmm.
And I started, I think, with a 20-point margin and ended up with about 40-point margin.
Okay.
To my last room to England.
Okay.
Couldn't have been further wrong. So I apologise to all the Scotland fans that were slightly aggravated by my score predictions.
Yeah, humble pie was certainly on the menu for everyone.
We had to go back in, didn't we?
I was in the boxes, right? And I think, I'm not quite sure what the largest cheer was, whether it was Hugh Jones for his second try or when it was for Chris Ashton returning back into the corporate boxes.
They were waiting.
Going back on, they were literally clapping him in.
It was lynch mentality.
It was. So we've got Chris Ashton alongside John Barclay this weekend on Rugby Union Weekly. Can I say, the game of the weekend was fantastic. We're going to get into it. Disappointed for England, brilliant for you. But my legacy and takeaway from the weekend was being introduced to a drink, which is quite simple, just 2 parts. It's vodka and it's iron brew. We've now named it a Scottish martini.
Sensational.
And it's a thing of true delight. I was so pleased and proud of myself that I was going up to Scottish people saying, hey, have you ever had this thing like vodka? And they're like, yeah. Should we start in Cardiff?
Please, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
If he can hold himself till then.
I'll wait as long as I need to wait, lads. I've waited 7 days for this and about 365 days on top of it. So...
Okay.
Take an extra 10
Let's go
minutes
to
if
Cardiff,
you need.
please.
Let's go to Cardiff. Let's do it.
Let's go.
It shouldn't take long.
It shouldn't take long. And a little bit like last week when we were reflecting on Wales's performance, I'm not quite sure how you analyse it because it's too easy just to sit here and say they're poor, the defence needs to be better. They're all really obvious things. But I'm not quite sure what level of depth that we can offer or get into to try and offer a solution as to how Wales might be able to get better by this time next week.
It's hard, isn't it? Because you're looking for green shoots and people are talking about green shoots and it's like, I don't want to sound harsh, but it's almost irrelevant. If you're conceding 7 tries, 8 tries a game, it masks over any of it. And I do get it. Like, there's no point flogging a dead donkey. It's like, well, where are the positives in that? Eddie James played well. You know, they had some nice attacking plays, but France were in second gear. That's the other thing. France could have scored 80 points.
Yeah.
France were breaking the line at will. And I'm trying to find the Wales scrum was half decent, but there's still so much error in their game. That the way I look at it, I think there's so much error in their game, which I think is thinkable. You said it, Ash, on Rugby Special. There's bits that they're doing for Wales that you wouldn't accept in a club game. You know, backfield coverage, how you set up from set piece, all those little bits. You think, well, how are they missing the basic details?
Yeah. Ashy?
Yeah, I saw the lads after the game trying to say it's a positive. And I understand the theory behind it. I think I'd just really like to see some solid foundations of... I think the defence is the most surprising one. Because no matter what Steve's trying to sort out or deal with right now, that is something that he is in full control of. He's a defence coach. He knows exactly how the system should be working, what it should be doing as a starting point. If they don't score any points, but they stop the other team from scoring points, surely you can build on that. But the fact that they're allowing teams to score so easily, you've got nothing to build your game off in the first place.
That's what I was going to ask, because these green shoots, and I felt sorry for, was it Sam Warburton, was it Anna Wynne-Jones primarily, been asked the questions, and it's tough to like repackage and reanalyze
every week
when it's the same outcome. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if there is, you are looking to build something. These green shoots, let's coin that phrase and just go with it.
They're on about just personnel. Do you think?
Yeah, okay, personnel. But game, when you're looking at the game and the game model, what is one thing that you have seen them in the last couple of weeks, regardless of the result, we're looking at performance, has there been one area or one thing where you're like, okay, they've got that, they then need to build upon it to next week?
I probably haven't watched the game in enough detail to find anything that's glaringly obvious, because the games are so all over the place and teams are scoring from everywhere. And there's stuff going on all the time. It's like another line break or a try, or it's just chaos the whole game. And teams are racking up 50 points. If you've only watched the game once or twice, it's hard to find. Maybe if you're a coach going through it, you can see certain people are doing things that better than what they were doing the week before and getting used to the level of Test rugby. But on the face of it, on the whole, just watching the game for what it is, was there a sign of a game plan in there? Maybe.
They kicked better. I think that sort of 20 to 40 minutes, they started to kick the ball and they got a bit out of France, but then they go away from that and the kicking game falls apart, and then you see kick loosely to France try. So you're like, what's the identity of this Welsh team? I think it's probably what you're asking. Is like, what do they want to be known for? If it's not going to be results in the immediate, then what is it they're going to be known for? And it's not going to be the defence at the moment. It's not.
No.
That's the other end. Is it? It's probably not their kicking game. Is it their set piece is functioning probably? But again, most teams have a half decent set piece.
But if it's not their defence, you'd go, well, at least they're scoring loads of tries.
No.
And you look at the balance of, no one has like perfect attack as well as perfect defence, and there's always a bit of a trade-off, isn't there? But if you're conceding so many tries, go, okay, well, at least they're showing this, and there's been loads of opportunities created. They've just got to get to finishing them better. But I'm not even really seeing that.
It's a hard game to go off as well, because France is so good.
France are good.
Yeah. It's a hard example to us go off the back again, because they battered Ireland as well.
Yeah.
And then they're against Wales. So maybe there is signs that it wasn't as bad as what people thought it was going to be. But, yeah, France are so good, they probably dropped off for the last 20 minutes because they knew the game was over, and they're pretty good at that. But for a large part of that game, France were pretty unstoppable.
Yeah, they were. We said for the first 30 minutes, they were world-class. They were simply world-class. And, of course, there's a massive chasm in quality between the two sides that we saw on Sunday at the Principality. Can you take much from that game from a French perspective, apart from just appreciate individuals?
You can probably how not to defend against them. No, I'm serious. Like, I don't understand. Like, and Ben Kaiser made the point. Is that you're going to not go at the breakdown. Okay, so you've got lots of people on their feet. You're going to bring some lines. Wales couldn't win the physical battles. You think, well, they're not going to go in the forward, not going to shorten their line. And then they just waited for France to come to them. And you're like, well, that's for France. It was just offload.
Yeah.
Getting behind. I don't know. France are on course for a Grand Slam now. The only team that can do it. They've got so much depth. And they've got so many more gears they can go up, I think, as well.
Yeah, they're not really stressed, have they?
They are. using the Six Nations to bring players through.
No, I was
Yeah.
It's madness.
I was actually thinking about it because they've had. You look at the last 3 international test windows. The summer was, hey lads, our frontline players have the summer off. Use lot. Can you go to, where's the trip? New Zealand. Okay, they actually played reasonably well when you consider who wasn't there. And then this autumn, he flipped and flopped. And now again, the Six Nations, I mean, he's dropped some big personalities. He's bringing some people through. And everyone kind of manages this 4-year cycle differently. But it feels like France. Atis Sogba is a baller.
The centre, John.
Broberry.
Here's
Here's a list of who isn't playing: Damien Penaud, Gael Fico, Gregory Aldrit, Deporter, Barassi, Calvin Gorge, Roman Intermac, Maxime Lucu, Nolan Legarec.
That's cool.
That's just the back. That's the backline plus Aldrit.
3 of them are scrum halves.
Do you know what I mean? It's like,
But the pressure will start to come on them.
yeah, for sure. They've not been tested. They've gone ahead in every game they've played.
And as the tournament goes, they've got, as we've said, an unbelievable team. So not winning the Six Nations now, I think is probably a failure if they don't win it.
Well, they should win it based on what we're seeing, right? Okay,
Yeah.
it's only 2 matches into it,
Yeah.
and one of those matches against Wales. But we often would say a team has a big game in them. Scotland got a big game in them. Ireland,
up.
big game.
Used
Used up
England
that
do.
card, mate.
Yeah, used it up, mate.
France have a game in them where they just fall to pieces. And you never know when it's coming. It was at the Alliance last year.
Yeah.
They seem to just have it in the locker and they like pull out the
He's
Uno
trying to
reverse
get-
card on themselves.
On the front foot with that, though, hasn't he? By making these changes.
Okay.
He's tried to anticipate that coming at some point, and you feel like these changes are...
He's gone for
To
way
get
more
ahead.
dynamic players as well. You look at what they're playing: 5 second rows, 5 back rows playing basically.
Yeah,
Who can shift? Then you bring on Miafu. You bring on these jokes at 50 minutes.
yeah.
He's bringing on more power in the centre, power in the back. It's speed.
Yeah, he's like starting his game but like built for speed, and then the last 30 is built for comfort.
Yeah.
Just big, heavy men. Do you know what I mean? Just drops the suspension, and it's like, guys, you big lads.
Put it in comfort mode.
But that is what they've been doing.
Exactly that, though, isn't it?
I think they've been
Load the revs.
first 2 games. Because of that, it is comfort mode, and they haven't kicked on. In the last 30 minutes of both games, they haven't kicked on. So if there is a sign of
True.
something, they've got this big bench that they keep bringing on, and it's not having the impact on the games, which it probably should be doing. The games are actually tailing off at that point. They're not going up a level. So if that gets to a game where it's very tight and these players are coming on and the game's close and they need to lift the level up again, that's not what the substitutions have been doing right now.
Well, a game that was tight went all the way through to the 81st or 82nd minute was Ireland up against Italy. Jonesy last week on the pod said this is Italy's best chance of beating Ireland. They've never beaten Ireland in Dublin. And I tell you what, after 30 odd minutes, but it felt like it was genuinely possible. It really did, didn't it?
I thought Italy should have won that game. Sorry, Italy could have won that game. And when they review it, they'll think we should have won that game. I think, and it's not a lot's been made of it, I don't think that's a forward pass. I don't think that's a forward pass.
And we've spoken about this, okay, so we've come prepared with our thoughts. I know exactly how you feel about this. I agree. And the reason as to why I agree is because Holly Davidson, and it was a historic day for her, and I thought she did a brilliant job. She gave us an on-field try. And so the moment it gets reviewed by Ian Tempest, who's the TMO, you have to find unquestionable evidence. It's got to be clear and obvious in order to be able to overturn the on-field decision. And I don't think it's clear and obvious. And what we're looking at is not the ball going forward, because we understand physics. If you run up to the halfway line, throw the ball in the air, the ball's going to travel forward because you have momentum. So what we're looking for is, does the ball come out of Minincello's hand forward? I don't think it's clear, and I don't think it's obvious to overturn that decision. Do you agree, Ashley?
No, but I still think aside from that, they did enough to win.
Yeah.
Made enough chances, give themselves enough opportunity to win. They need to get over this. we're lucky to be in the game and just need
Do
to
you think
start
that's
progressing
Do you
from
think
that.
that's a public message? Because I was surprised when Quesada, their coach, said,
Yeah.
"Oh, if you'd said it to me like last week that we would be in a chance of beating Ireland, I'd have beaten you." And I thought,
I
what?
just think we're past that. I
Yeah.
think all this, like the scrum they've got. So now you've got a platform that backs can go. No matter what, we can play off the back of this. They're not wait. Are we getting the ball? Are we not getting the ball? You're in a situation where you can put stuff on to do damage, not wait to see if you get the ball or the penalty or not. Scrum's outstanding. They just get to levels in game where they're like, we're now getting towards the end of the game. The scoreline's close. We're playing against Ireland. Should we be winning or not? Or do we deserve to be in the game? Just get that out of your head, lads. You're good enough. You can win these games. They're in the 22 enough. They should have turned it on or not. But you can't leave it to being behind on the scoreboard, a few minutes left, trying to find a chancy try somewhere. They're actually better than that.
I think they've got. We spoke about rugby special. Like you look at when we used to play against some early noughties, it was just scrum, line out, maul, power. Castro Giovanni, Sergio Parise, Bortolami. You knew it was coming. They didn't probably have the back line. Kieran Crowley came in, and you saw Zebre and Benetton trying to play this expansive style again, and they almost beat themselves a lot of the time. They're trying to play this game and force. And I think now, Ash, you touched it, they've got one of the best scrums around. They've got a great line out. They've got really good back row. They can carry. They've got good centre partnerships. They've got good back three. Like they've got a lot of the makings of a very good side. And I agree. I think whether it's a public message or whether it's something they believe or it's a chip on their shoulder that they're happy to be competing. I'm with that. They've got to get rid of that. They could have won that game. They had so many opportunities to win that game.
2 years in a row against Ireland. I think they could have beaten them. They'll be kicking themselves. I mean, you go back to the start of the game where the number 9 with the intercept.
Yeah.
How that goes through his hands.
Straight through.
Straight through. And he was straight through. So there was loads of opportunities there. I guess if it's a case of belief, whether it's a public message or not, they play France this week. What do you do? Because I don't like the message of Quesada saying to everyone, hey, if you told us that we'd be in this contest. So if the lads hear that, they're like, does the coach believe that we can go up against these big dogs? Because next week, when France come running, we have to believe that we can go toe-to-toe with them.
Why is that a situation now where they're expected to lose, so they play better? They end up finishing these chances because they are in a good place, and when they feel like they've not got a chance of beating France, they might end up pushing them really close. Or
they should have beat them 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Nice.
the
Oh my
missed
gosh.
kick. Yeah,
Should have
The
won.
kick that fell off the tee.
Yeah, they beat France a few times. That's. I don't think they will beat France, but I think there's those games and the history and the way those games have been. I think it maybe quite suits Italy.
We'll see.
But Ireland in that game, I think will just be like relieved to get the win. Because imagine if they lost 2.
Gosh.
They're lucky. They did some good stuff. Defence was good. They did well to keep Italy team, keep turning them over, keep putting them back. But they're in a funny spot, Ireland. You don't really know what they're trying to do. They play from deep a lot. They play in situations where you think it's not on to play, but you're trying to play out of it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They can't really. Jack Crowley came on at fly half and had a big impact, changed the game into Ireland's favour, really. So they've still got this fly half debate. They just look a bit unsettled and not quite sure about how they want to move forward. And I like Andy Faz, how open he is after in his post-match interviews. He's quite open and honest of where the team are, and they're trying to get little wins in every game that they can. What
settles the Crowley-Prendergast debate?
Maybe a fight.
Scrap.
That'd be good, wouldn't it? Right, both on your knees.
On the knees.
On the knees, scrap. Old school, John.
No face shots.
Oh my gosh.
Just body shots.
Yeah.
Who do you reckon would win?
Crowley.
Prendergast has got the reach, though, hasn't he?
Crowley.
Yeah.
Crowley.
He'd have a
gotta
good
be.
jab. Keep you at distance.
Yeah.
But Crowley, you reckon's just got a
Bit more
decent...
power.
Yeah, he'd just sneak in with a little uppercut. Maybe. I'm not sure.
There was a coach that used to do that, actually.
What?
I don't want to name names, but I know one
Legal
that
union?
there was 2 lads for a spot, and he's like, fight it out.
No.
Yeah, in union.
Union?
Yeah, you can fight for it.
I mean, it's hard to try and like narrow it down.
I wouldn't
Played
take
for
too
so
many guesses.
We went to.
Oh,
I
okay.
wouldn't take too many guesses.
Okay. If I get it right, will you confirm?
No.
Steve Diamond.
That's where I was going. That's where I was going.
I cannot confirm or deny.
Like we went to a boxing gym in Glasgow once. They didn't think we were tough enough to send us to a boxing gym. Boxing gym in the East End of Glasgow. Can you imagine what that was like? Me showing up there, and they had a spot, and you had to fight someone in. You had to do a round with someone in your position.
Yeah.
DTH Van der Merwe, the Canadian one, got in the first round, got knocked out. No one fought after that. Done. Pack your bags, lads. Let's go home.
Who knocked him out?
I can't even remember. It was maybe Nico Matawalu, flying Fijian.
Oh, I bet he can go.
I did it a few times too, and if lads had not been in a boxing room before, they're just whirring shots. Just
Yeah, of course.
props are just like ding, 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 ding.
That's not the one. Do you remember 2011 World Cup where we did King of the Ring wrestling? So we got the squad lined up from like heaviest all the way through to lightest. So you'd ordinarily be second row or front row all the way down to your scrum halves. And so the front row or the second row, who would start? He'd go in weight order. You would just scrap until you like pin someone or lob someone out the ring. And then, so you could be scrapping for 2 or 3 minutes. Next thing, someone else has come.
Back in you come, yeah.
Fresh.
Yeah.
And so you probably only get through like 2 or 3 fights tops, right? And then us as like wingers, we've come in, we're probably fighting like back rows at this point, which is like not fair for a start, but we're a bit fresher. And then it went the whole way down. So we had a pre-season where it was mainly like to do with our grappling. Of course, it was fitness, a bit of competition, but
I reckon the Irish media will love this conversation.
Yeah.
They'll be all over
Growing
it.
arms and legs a bit, that's isn't it?
yeah.
That's how we settle the debate.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so if we were to take out boxing and King of the Ring out of it, what do you think Andy Farrell is looking for from one of those 10s in order? And maybe he does know, because he seems to favour Prendergast over Jack Crowley, but the debate doesn't seem to be finalised.
I think if he picks Prendergast this weekend, I think that's the debate done. I think he's sticking his colours to the mast, and that's his guy. And it looks like he's his guy anyway, doesn't it?
Yeah, feels
It
like
does. And he's had a few chances. I think Crowley's just been there, sort of nibbling away, and gets 20 minutes, 30 minutes, comes on, makes a difference. Yeah, we looked at the stat. There's not much in the stats between the two of them. Everyone's got this perception that Prendergast maybe has the better running game.
Well, one number is.
One number is very glaring.
Yeah.
The tackling.
66% for Sam.
Missed
Even
7
I
of
was
it.
67.
No chance.
6, 7.
6, 7. You missed 7 against France. I don't know. You missed the weekend.
7.
But teams just going to go after him.
Yeah, that is the problem. But
Teams
when
are
it
going to set up
becomes a
first
thing,
phase just to go out, just wherever he is, you're going to go after him.
it becomes a focal point for teams to be able to attack at, and then you try and move him in the backfield, and then he's up doing aerial contest all of a sudden, and then that becomes a focal point. So you got to be careful. I understand why they're doing it, because a lot of his attack is very similar to how Johnny Sexton attacks, and Johnny's in the camp. He's a coach there, so they're obviously trying to train him to mould the attack that way, which is fine. But the other bits of his game have got to raise too, and that isn't the case. He missed a couple of easy kicks at goal.
Yeah.
Maybe just taking it for granted, but you cannot take it for granted. You only at that level you only get so many chances before, and Jack comes on, does well. So now Jack deserves another shot.
But you made the good point earlier in Rugby Special that Jack Crowley, yes, he came on, had a massive difference, and I felt like they looked a bit more fluid as a team, but it came on at James Gibson Park. Yeah. And that level of security inside, taking pressure off you, guiding you around the pitch. I think it's going to be a fascinating selection. It really is. If you were in the England camp, who would you want Ireland to select at number 10?
I genuinely think for England right now, it doesn't matter.
That's not answering the question.
Doesn't matter. I wouldn't even bat an eyelid either or.
I'll tell you who they want. Prendergast. You want to get your attacking game going? Well, there's a guy. Go and find him. They're not having that same conversation if Crowley's there, are they? They're not thinking, where is he in defence? We'll go after him. it just opens up attack. And England's attack wasn't great at the weekend. They want to have that level of, right, here's the guy, here's the get over the gain line, here's where we can go find.
Okay, we've got to that point of the pod.
Have we?
Took a while.
No, we got a bit longer.
yeah.
Calcutta Cup. There was a lot spoken about heading into it.
So I'm just going to sit up for this bit. Make sure the mic's close.
Where the pressure was, the recent history, Scotland's dominance truly in this fixture. But I don't think anyone predicted the dominance of that first half from Scotland before the game.
No, they didn't. I didn't. I thought England were favourites. I thought, based on the weekend before, Scotland were, so poor in Rome. They were so poor, and there was so much pressure. The media up in Scotland was irate. The fans are irate. Really frustrated with the team and the coaching and Wise. We speak about it every year. That same conversation, and I was so impressed by Scotland with that. All that was coming their way. Desperation was the word thrown around by Sione Tuipulotu. Almost playing for their coach, playing for the fans, playing for the disappointment of the previous week, and to play the first 28 minutes the way they did, under that level of pressure, and to do it with that level of accuracy, that level of, I suppose, bravery in terms of how they ran the ball, how they played the ball. I thought they were brilliant. I think, but then we spoke about it earlier. We have seen this Scotland team do this against England, almost carbon copy, in terms of how the game plays out. I mean, the style of the game, where Scotland attack England, and they played in the wide channels. They got so much out of it. And last week the weather wasn't great. Yeah, I know that, but we didn't see the same level of intent. We didn't see the same level of distribution to Sione Tuipulotu, Hugh Jones. The back three were great. Finn Russell had one of his best games for a while. The whole Scottish backline was brilliant. But also, I thought the English pack would really come after Scotland, and they did. The scrum was a problem for Scotland. Apart from that, I thought Scotland had the upper hand up front.
They did. When you look at the personality of some of the nations, we often, in a slightly negative way, we could say, like for France, they've got a game where they can just mentally just switch off and just throw a game away, like they did last year at the Allianz Stadium. For Scotland, it's been alleged against them that they're not quite sure as to whether they play too loose and whether that works, and they only compete for an England game. To Ireland, you can get into them if you monster them, if you just bully them with just sheer physicality. The glaringly obvious thing for me, which is now becoming a trend, if you want to beat England, if you put width on the ball and pace on the ball, you can get after them, because Scotland haven't changed their game plan to try and beat England in the last 8 years, and England consistently haven't been able to find a solution for it. Is that a worry, Ashley?
There's a lot in it, isn't it? It's just the game literally was just gone in 15 minutes. It was over. After building up for so long to get 12 wins in a row, no matter how you won, and it was against some good opposition in there as well, they managed to build up this bank, and in 16 minutes, I reckon 30% of that was just wiped off. And they never really got going. You thought at points they were going to find a way. I kept thinking they were going to find a way, and then they'd drop a ball, or they'd just get a turnover, or it was a red card. It was just like constant. Never got going. So I hope it's just a blip, just a one-off. I'm sure it will be.
But it's not in terms of the style of the defeat. That's what I mean.
Against Scotland.
Against Scotland.
At Murrayfield.
But there's not many teams that play the brand of rugby that Scotland play. France can. And you go back to the France game last year, of course, we know England won. But my word, that game should have been over at half-time.
There were situations in the game where England would be really high on the edge in defence. They might be a bit tight or whatever, but they were really high, and a lot of teams wouldn't throw the pass. They would go, oh, is it there, is it not? But Scotland, from the off, just had it in their mind, we are throwing it no matter what. We're going wide to wide. It doesn't matter. And because they were so committed to it, and then you had the two lads, the big wingers, England would try and recover in defence, but they'd get 5-6 metres, which means everybody's running twice as far all the time. and then they shifted it somewhere else. They just never could catch up. And then you throw on the back of that so many missed tackles in 40 minutes, like 20 missed tackles, which is really unusual for the back row. I mean, when have you heard of bringing a back row off at half time? Just, especially with Sam Underhill, it just doesn't happen. So amazing that Scotland was so committed to going to the wide, because it can catch you out. But when the wingers played as well as Scotland did, they just find me as on an edge, which keeps the momentum flowing.
We spoke to Finn after the game. I spoke to Finn after the game, and I said, how they got 17-0 up, and you're thinking, do you use a kicking game? And then he said he had a conversation with Greg Townsend at half time. Do we use our kicking game more? Do we pin them back? They have to score. It's on them to run it back to us. And fair play, they said no. They said, no, we're going to keep running it. We're going to keep pushing it. And you saw they played from 5-metre lineouts. They played from 5-metre scrums. They were going to take it to width, make England scramble. And that's the bit I'm surprised about with England, is how good they've been defensively, how good their back row's been, how good they've been at defending. They let Scotland create a loose game. England are one of the best in the world when it's a bit more structured. They can control the game, impose themselves. They let Scotland make it unstructured. And that's the bit that surprised me most, because someone said to me, if there was a beach sevens game going on, which Scotland backs would you take? You had to pick between a combined backs for a sevens game, a loose game. Well, who would you pick? Most of Scotland guys.
Yeah, when I got off the plane, and it was bright sunshine, and up until Saturday, it rained. I know as a fact it's rained every single day this year in 2026. And I got off the plane, landed. I was like, "This is lovely. What is this? It's sun." And I was praying for it to rain. I wanted to see the rain in Scotland, because I knew that it would much suit Scotland's game than it would England. Like England, we know they could be masterful. Kick pressure game, good set piece game, all those things. And by the way, some of their mauling at the weekend I thought was tremendous from England.
Yeah. Scrum was great, maul was great.
It's excellent. But I've seen this Scotland game before, and it's dry. And so when you mentioned Rugby Special, when England decided to not compete at every line out and just effectively give a Scottish backline free ball, Scotland were really grateful for those opportunities and took them really, really well. I thought Scotland was so clinical, masterful in that first half. And to your point, Ashley, I mean, they just blew them away. It was quite hard to recover emotionally. And then tactically on top of it, because Henry Arundel has now been off for 30 minutes in the game. I mean, that was...
If that's your... So England's plan was, I think, to win. It has been through the autumn, and they've had big wins because of it, because they've got good people who can catch high balls and get under it and compete and wreck, and then do exactly what Scotland did, play off the back of it.
Yeah.
So when you don't win any of those contests, and that's how you're planning on getting into the game, they literally didn't win one kickback.
No.
And then you lose the winger to a red coat who gets caught under your tactical game plan. The game's dust. They just didn't win any of those aerial battles, and then they got flustered and couldn't find a different way. But by that time, Scotland were just so in control.
It was just a massive... It was poor from Arundel to get that second yellow card, because it is such a skill, and just got to be better in that situation. Quite simply, just got to be better. Got to understand. The first thing when you're chasing a contestable is you've got to be aware of where the ball is dropping. The minute you know where it's dropping, then everything off the back of that you can work on. Spotting where the defending player is, whether you're getting up, waiting for them to drop, your decision making becomes so much easier. But he doesn't. He gets into that drop zone, and then he tries to jump. He jumps too late, and he's not aware. Then he takes Carl out. But that one decision there, which was just sloppy, then made the impact of it. I thought it exposed the number of other things. 6-2 bench, no Marcus Finn-Smith. Now you've got Finn-Smith in at 12. Tommy Freeman, who's the only real big ball carrier in that backline, is now having to go to the wing. So you lost a little bit of punch through the centre. So it's amazing how that one moment could have such a greater impact on quite a number of other things for England.
Do you think he sticks to his guns? With the bench, 6-2, and I mean, Arundel's been cited, we think.
Yeah, he has been cited.
He's been cited. So is there going to be a change in midfield? Is there going to be a change? Because you spoke about it, Ashley, the problem for, Roebuck flew in for the first Hugh Jones try.
Yeah, that was just panic.
Yeah, but you spoke about the centres. You got two centres in the middle of the pitch side by side in rucks. Is there a lack of game awareness at that level?
Well, I mean, we were sat here last week and the backline we picked wasn't the backline Steve Borthwick picked. I'm not an international coach, but I stand by what I said last week. I wanted to see Ollie Lawrence at 13 and Fraser Dingwall at 12 with the back three of Tom Roebuck, Tommy Freeman and Freddie Stewart. It just... If we bank so heavily upon this kick game, select your best wingers for it.
Yeah.
I do think I've been in games like that against New Zealand mainly, where you're like, what has just happened there for 60 minutes? You can't do anything right. And it's like, bang, 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 try. They're scoring from everywhere. And you're like, wow, we've got to play a completely different game to try and get back into this. And I just think that's what you end up thinking differently. And you're so engrossed in trying to help, you're not actually doing your job because you're trying to put out fires somewhere. Like, look at Ellis. Ellis is trying his hardest. And he ends up doing a role that he shouldn't be doing in going backfield and sliding on the ball. And because somewhere along the system it's broken down, whether that's good Scotland attack or bad English defence, it breaks down. So you end up, the whole system has a cog somewhere loose. So for a lot of time, you're distracted by amazing atmosphere too. The big one, I think, is Marcus. To not have Marcus on the bench is... like, the guy's a game changer. He can play fly half, he can play fullback. If you game isn't going to the way you want it, Marcus can literally change a game like that.
It did. I don't know how well Marcus has been playing, but I do think it looked like a game where England need a spark. Especially if you lose a wing, you need something. They were a little bit workmanlike. They were going through phases. The one they led to the drop goal, which was charged down. You're going through phases, and Scotland defended very well. They didn't have a spark. They didn't have something which was that injection of pace or something. Yeah, someone who's going to take a risk there, because England had to take a risk as well.
But 9 and 10, I think you would love to be able to select your 9 and 10 on the bench 25 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
Because had Steve Borthwick known that Scotland were going to blow England away for 30 minutes, he'd go, well, we need Marcus Smith. If England are in absolute cruise control and playing the type of rugby that we've become accustomed to seeing them in the last 12 months, and Henry Arundel doesn't get sent off for 30 minutes of the game.
But Marcus has been on the bench for all those games.
Yeah, he has. I don't quite know why that 23 role that's been occupied by Marcus for the last year shifted this week.
I think he thought he needs to get Finn game time. And there is something in that. He has to start allowing Finn Smith to have game time. Because if Georgie's...
Why didn't he give him game time against Wales?
I don't know. Because it's the first game of the Six Nations. They did well in the autumn. You coming into it, Finn... I honestly couldn't tell you. I think he thought he needs to get Finn game time. That's to put him on, but...
There's been nothing to suggest...
You've got to back Finn to play.
That England were going to go 17-0 down. From what we've seen,
No.
They've not been behind, or they've been narrowly behind. They've never gone 17-0 down in this run.
Their largest deficit at half-time was inflicted on Saturday. Up until that point, it was 12 points against New Zealand, and they went on and won that game. So they've not been in a position where they're having to chase like 2 converted tries. And fair play to Scotland. They were brilliant for the scoreboard pressure that they put on them, and then the skill pressure they put on England. But you're right. I mean, it's mad because you can try and analyse things on outcomes, and of course we're now analysing, and we did actually touch upon it last week with the Marcus Finn Smith decision, but everything just gets exposed, doesn't it, when it doesn't quite work out. But then the game after 30 minutes didn't quite work out. Losing a player for 30 minutes adds to all of that and puts pressure on the thinking as to what the bench looks like.
Yeah.
I do think the red card would be the big one, but I think there was warning signs before that Scotland were looking far more dangerous. England didn't look right defensively, I don't think. Scotland were able to get the ball into wide channels. Even with a player there, I think they still looked like they weren't quite at it.
Well, Sam Underhill got. Have you ever known a back row to get changed at half time? He might be something.
Happened to me.
Has it?
I'm sure. I think it has. Not a test level.
But it doesn't
Just to be
happen
clear.
especially Sam. Like, it's the best tackler around, but he was missing,
Yeah.
doing
But
uncharacteristically.
you did mention you don't think he was.
100.
He took a knock.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be interested this week. He got clattered off Xander Ferguson, and you don't know whether that's an impact of what's happened later. But you're right. Like, he's one of the best tacklers in the game. Like, offensive, destructive tacklers. He is one of the best. So to see him slipping off tackles and that the Ben White try twice in the one passage of play to be falling off, it's just very uncharacteristic of him. But I thought Pepper was pretty quiet. You know, Ben carried
Marrow,
really well.
56
Yeah,
minutes.
Marrow taking up 50 minutes.
Yeah.
The front row didn't probably carry the way that they have been.
And then the bench just didn't have the impact.
But that's the
It's too
England. How
late
good's
by
the England bench been in the past? In the
That's what
last,
I mean.
they've been brilliant.
Yeah.
Come on, add energy, you know. But it's a very different game to come on to.
Yeah.
Very different game to come on to when the tails are up and you got a man down and you know the occasion at Murrayfield is a bit different.
What's the most disappointing thing for you, Ashley? Is it because they've been so good, they've got 12 on the row and now the Grand Slam hopes are done? Or is it the manner in which they lost? Only because we have seen this game before and we've yet once again not seen England be able to find the correct answers for it.
Because it was Scotland. Well, partly is because of that, because we haven't been able to win up there for 6 years. I thought it was a really important fixture for us to go, right, we really are going it, really motoring. We've beaten Scotland away, our first time in 6 years. The coaching staff haven't won up there.
Yeah.
I just think there was the surprise. We all, like I said, I mean, we joked at the start about how
Yeah.
playing on the English arrogance thing before the game about how we were going to beat Scotland, but we were so wrong. That's what I'm really gutted at. We were so far off it.
You weren't alone.
No, I
Like-
just didn't see it.
I didn't meet anyone at Murrayfield that thought Scotland were going to win.
I was joking about the scoreline, but it was just the manner in which 15, 16 minutes, I'm like, oh my God, how have we gone up to Murrayfield again and allowed the game to unfold? Even though Ben Earl did an interview earlier in the week going, we've replayed it, we've seen it, we know what's coming, we know what to do, we know how to absorb it all. That was none of that, unfortunately.
I didn't expect the manner of victory, but I wasn't surprised Scotland won. I
No.
wouldn't have been surprised either way, but I just have seen, like you say, we've seen this movie so many
Yeah,
times.
Yeah.
It's just,
It's
it
not
is
good. It's not great.
It's mad.
It is mad that Scotland are able to, and that again is a frustration from a Scottish point of view. I think it's a massive nod to how good England are, that the fact that Scotland do get, whether they get up for the game or their game just suits the way that England plays. There's something in that. It can't just
The
be a
game
psyche.
model suits.
The
how-
game model suits it. I wasn't surprised. I think you look at how dangerous that Scotland backline is, and if they get ball, and they got ball. So we've seen this a number of times. How many times in the last 8 years has man of the match been in the Scottish backline?
Yeah, no fair. Hugh Jones, again, no one scored more tries in this fixture than Hugh Jones, which is just insane. I thought he was brilliant again at the weekend. Contract extension for Gregor, is it now? Or?
Like we said, if they finish high at the table, it's vindicated, isn't it?
Do you reckon he stood in the changing rooms going, I'm not leaving?
Leo DeCap.
Leo DeCap. He's vindicated. I think Gregor's selection at the weekend, it was Glasgow against England, lads. England can't beat Glasgow.
Mate, this fella, it was about midnight. We went out for a couple of drinks after. He went, England, 10 clubs, all their wealth and might, can't even beat Glasgow.
Glasgow, lads.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy for Gregor.
No, here we go.
I am?
No, I am. I genuinely am as well.
He's a good guy and he took a lot of heat there.
Took a load of heat and he stuck to his guns in the back. It would have been the easiest thing to say, we're going to bring Blair in. And I think, again, Blair would have been great in the game, no doubt. He could have brought Duan in, could have started Darcy. He made the hard changes up front. He dropped Grant Gilchrist. He dropped Pierre Schumann. He dropped Ewan Ashman. He brought in Gregor Brown, a lighter pack, and stuck to his guns in the back three. Scotland back three were brilliant. Kyle Steyn, man of the match. Tom Jordan was solid as a rock.
He's a brilliant
Brilliant. Jamie Dobie was brilliant. He looks like he's injured himself, but there's something to be said for, Gregor was under pressure, no doubt, and will remain under pressure until the end of the Six Nations. But if Scotland win at Wales, that Scotland-France game is suddenly huge.
It's a big game, but in terms of winning something tangible, right? Triple Crown.
Yeah.
Scotland haven't had a better opportunity in recent years than where you currently do.
You say that, but they've not beat Ireland since 2017.
Like, when Greg has never beaten Ireland.
Yeah.
Where's that game?
In Ireland.
But
Round
Ireland
5.
have never looked more fallible than in recent times once again. So you've ticked off England, job done. You're playing against Wales, who concede on average 7 tries a game. So you'd expect, if things are to go to form, you'll win that, which means a Triple Crown is in your hands.
It's in your hands. Can I interrupt you for a second? We talk about the fact that...
He's trying to
No,
get you to agree.
I'm not. Look, I would love it if they... I would love
Triple
it.
Crown will be in your hands if you've beaten England and Wales. You have to beat Ireland.
But
to
I
win
think
it.
there's something about... There's something about the way England play and Scotland play, that when they play, it suits Scotland.
Yes.
The same can be said, the complete opposite,
Oh,
though,
you do.
when they play Ireland.
But
They
what does
can't beat
Ireland. What
Ireland.
are Ireland?
They haven't beaten Ireland since 2017. They've knocked over Australia,
But that's
England,
not the same
France.
now for Ireland.
I know, but is there something stylistically that just
No, I think
doesn't
that's
allow
changed
that?
too
Do you think
much.
that's changed?
Yeah,
I mean, I hope it has.
yeah, I do think.
I
that's
do hope it
changed.
has, because I think that Irish team has managed to overpower Scotland up front. And you saw signs at the weekend that Italy have got a good pack. Again, they played Italy and France, two of the most powerful packs probably in the championship. And Ireland haven't managed to steamroll them.
No. So I thought, regardless what happened at the weekend, whether you won or lost against England, that's kind of a box that you've ticked. The one for me is Ireland.
Yeah.
The one for me is Ireland. If you want something that signifies progress, it's Scotland beating Ireland. And if you do that, you win a Triple Crown. And that would be a very, very good Six Nations for Scotland. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would, definitely. To beat England, beat Wales, beat Ireland, the way there's under pressure, under the fact that England, everyone was talking about England were going to the Grand Slam decider.
Not me.
You were.
No,
You booked your plane ticket.
Oh, stop it.
You ordered champagne, I heard. No, I think that would be something. I think that's something that Scottish supporters have wanted to point to something and say there's something tangible to say there is progress, and that would be progress. But it's a long way away. They've got to beat Wales. They have to go down and beat Wales and back it up, and that's what I liked about the players. That we have to back it up, and Wales are in disarray. They are in disarray, and we spoke about it earlier. There's not many things you can hang your hat on with Wales and say that's who they are and that's what they are and that's to be wary of. If Scotland play the way they did at the weekend, with the bravery, they'll beat Wales and they'll beat them well, I think.
Yeah, agree, Ashley?
I still need a few days to go this weekend. I'm absolutely gutted.
You need a spa day.
I just need to clear my mind of it. I just can't believe it was like that.
You and I both. I mean, I logged onto my Whoop.
If there was
This
anybody that we probably
9%
didn't want to
recovery.
spend the whole day with, it probably would be John.
Well, let me tell you this, lads. The feeling was very much mutual last week.
Hey, do you reckon I gave you a hard time last week?
No, you said, was it a shock? Well, I'll ask you the question. Is it a shock?
Yes. Yes.
Is it though?
No,
Seven-
it is for the way England performed.
7
That's
out
a
of
shock.
9.
It's not a shock when you look at
Come on, lads.
history. It is a shock when you look at current form.
I'm glad there's not a week off for England.
Really?
Yeah.
Get straight back into
Get
it.
into
Oh
it,
my
yeah.
gosh.
Do you think Wales want a week off?
Or 2 or 3. I'm joking, please.
They got 6 days off. They got 6 days off.
Huh?
They got 6 days off. They don't even have a week.
6-day turnaround.
That's tough.
It is really tough. Gentlemen, as ever, it's been a pleasure.
The pleasure's been all mine.
Enjoy the ride up to Scotland, John.
I will.
I hope there's no snow blocking the motorway.
You lads are more than welcome.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Rugby Union Weekly. My thanks to Chris Ashton as well as John Barclay. But if you want to get more content right across BBC Sport, you've seen us on YouTube. But if you want to get us in your ears as well as in your face, get yourself across to BBC Sounds where you can download the Rugby Union Weekly podcast. Don't forget to hit subscribe here on YouTube to BBC Sports on their page. But thanks once again for joining. We'll see you next time.